Welcome everyone to the finest women in real estate studio. We are here with amazing three people in the real estate industry, and I'm so excited. We're going to talk about the integrity in real estate, and we're going to start off by introducing you to Janice Glenn McEntee. And Janice, welcome to our show.
Hi, how are you guys doing? I'm excited about this.
Good. And then we have Michelle Estelle, who is a mortgage broker. Michelle, welcome to our show.
Thank you. Hi. Thank you for having me.
And then we have Jason Yesser, who is with White Noise Digital. Jason, welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Okay, great. I'm really excited because this is such a great topic for us to talk about because in real estate, it's all about integrity. Am I right? And, we're talking about your reputation. We're talking about how you present yourself in the community and the way you communicate with people. So I'm going to go start with Janice. Janice, in regards to the way you look at your integrity in the real estate industry, how did that all start for you? I mean, even just, I know that you've had a lot of homes that you've sold in the past. I mean, I remember you said you've sold like around 1,200 homes. And so you've been around in real estate. So tell us a little bit about your background and what you think about integrity.
Okay, well, I came from new home sales. I did about 15, 16 years of working for a publicly traded company like Lennar Homes, Richmond American Homes, Suntex Homes, and it's now Waite, and been in resale for about 10 years and working for EXP Realty. Now, as far as the integrity, it's all about the commitment that I gave to my clients from day one, being, doing, I try to keep my promise to everyone, whether it's personal or business, because integrity is being the same person, no matter who you're working with, no matter who you are with. You need to keep to be the same person, basically, never compromising your moral character and 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 the value that you can offer to everyone. So for me, it's very important integrity because that basically create my reputation in the business.
Okay. And
I,
your community is mostly Filipino, is that right? Because you're a Filipino, and is that really your uh, area of audience mostly?
well, I have different clients. I mean, especially when I was in new homes, it's almost even, but I have a niche in the market is what I would say.
Okay.
So, and obviously I have a community that I go to after work, and as far as the church and the people that I hang around with after work, I have a lot of Filipino friends. It just happened that way.
Yeah.
So, but I have a mixed clients as far as clients are concerned, especially when I was working for new home sales.
Okay.
So,
And then you work with Michelle a lot because again, there's that relationship between you and Michelle. Um, what is so special about that relationship with Michelle?
well, for me, it's really important because I trust her. Okay. I know that if I give her a loan and she works on my client, she will take care of them. She will give me a pre-qual or a letter of pre-qualification for these buyers, knowing that she had already done the work. She's not just going to give me anything that is just because she wants, she's in a hurry or I need it right away. So, because sometimes I will call her, hey, Michelle, I'm going to be showing houses tomorrow. Can I get a pre-qual? So she will jump on the phone and talk to the clients right away. So I can trust her work ethic. And it's always been that way. We've worked together since the mid 90s. So it's
Wow,
been
that's amazing.
quite, yeah, it's
Yeah.
been quite a while.
So Michelle, in regards to integrity in real estate, what is your perspective on that?
Well, I mean, just what Glenn was saying, that she works with me because she trusts what I will do. That integrity goes a long way. I think that even though in a relationship, there might be things that are important to the client, they aren't maybe first thinking of the trustworthiness. Of course, everybody first wants to know about maybe product that can be offered to them, or what the cost is and what the fees are. Initially, that might be most important, but if I'm not trustworthy, I could tell them anything,
Mhm.
and I won't do that. So it's just very important within the relationship. It's important in the transaction, because without the financing, there generally is not going to be a closing. So you can see how important being able to trust that the process has been done with integrity. The outcome is going to be reflective of that. So Glenn and I have worked together for a really long time. In that in itself has lent itself to creating a trust relationship by knowing each other. And then when I recommend Glenn to a client, or she recommends me, it's based on those years of establishing that trust and that relationship.
Mhm.
And we can convey that to the client, how long we've worked together, to hopefully have them also know that that because of this long-term relationship, that they can feel comfortable that the outcome will be based on that long-term relationship and that trust.
Okay, and you feel the same way in regards to Janice's reputation, right? On how,
Absolutely. Not only her reputation, but understanding her skills, understanding her knowledge, knowing that, if I talk to a client that came through my end of the transaction first, and I'm going to offer the opportunity for Glenn to work with the client, it's because her integrity is, for me, what we've already established, but for the client, it's the ability to negotiate, the ability to get them on contract in a home, the ability for her to be able to educate them on what's going to happen, and also protect them in the process. Things that they don't know, maybe, and a client doesn't think of first and foremost, are what we know are going to ultimately be the most important parts: the integrity, the trustworthiness, the skill, the education, the knowledge.
okay, I see.
Yep.
Now, Jason, in regards to your services, I mean, you actually help real estate professionals in regards to getting, live appointments and, warm leads. Now, how does that work with you when it comes to someone like Janice, who has, already a reputation, a very established reputation? How does that work for you when an agent doesn't have that branding or that kind of level of reputation?
Well, that's a great question. I mean, it's really hard to bring live transfer appointments, warm appointments, and individuals to a real estate professional that just doesn't have that reputation, because it's like we're starting from ground zero. And I love working with people that do have integrity, and because they realize the most important thing about, they're not looking at it as like a lead or like an appointment, they're looking at it as a relationship. And I think when we're working with somebody in real estate in general, um, it's got to be relationships over transactions. And I know a lot of people, we talk to some people, and, when we're going through our process of who we want to work with, we always try to make sure we're working with somebody that has the right mindset, that you need to build a relationship with people. Like, when you're talking to somebody that wants to buy or sell their home, I mean, that's one of the biggest investments of their life. And it's like integrity is everything. So like, we're really looking for people that have integrity, that they have a reputation that goes with just being in the marketplace, and having that good reputation, I guess, is the important thing. So yeah, it's super important.
I see. Now, when it comes to communication, I know Janice, you're bilingual. You have the English and Tagalog, with the Filipino language.
Mhm.
Now, how difficult is it for someone that is not bilingual when they're dealing with Filipino community?
Is that
Yeah, for you. I mean, your perspective about
when
communication
they're
when someone is not bilingual and they don't have the skill that you have, because you can speak to the Filipino on their language. But for someone doesn't have the ability to speak their language, what's the difficulty in that area?
Well, there could be a breakdown in communication, but if you're specifically talking at the Tagalog language, that's actually English is the second language in the country, in the Philippines. So, 100% of them, I mean, they speak the English language. So I did have clients that are, I don't speak Spanish. Okay.
Mhm.
So that was a little bit challenging for me. So I tried to get somebody that could translate it for me because I want to make sure that they understand the whole transaction, and I have no problem hiring somebody that will do the translation for me because I want to make sure that they understand what's going on and they are fully aware of all the documents that they are signing. And I will do that for their advantage because I can speak the language. So,
Yeah, and it
the
does
best way for
matter,
me is to
right?
hire someone.
Yeah, so it does matter when you don't know their
Mhm.
language.
Yeah, it
Okay.
does. So I will hire somebody that fully understand it so that, it will be a good and smooth transaction for everyone.
Okay. Is that the same thing with you, Michelle?
Well, I don't speak any other language but English, and I have a diverse clientele. And I can't say that it never is an issue, but surprisingly, it has been an issue very rarely. I mean, the documentation is in English. So I just really have not had that situation. If we do need someone to intervene, generally there's family members or professional interpreters that can help out. But I haven't had that problem. I worked with Glenn for 25 years. I haven't had a problem with her clientele, or I work in the desert and Coachella and Indio and all over California. So it hasn't been an issue.
Now with you, Jason, I know you you have to talk to almost everybody. So how does that work for you?
That's funny. Yeah, we do. So our callers, they're fluent in Spanish and English. So I mean, could we get some other, callers that are like, multilingual, I guess you could say? I mean, absolutely. But I think for what we do, I think Spanish and English pretty much covers the majority of the country. We do have some Filipino people on our team too, so we could definitely help in that aspect. But usually, when we're working with somebody, we focus on Spanish and English.
I see. That's interesting because part of building your integrity is really having a good understanding with your clientele because it is especially when you're talking about legal documents, and they need to really understand what's in those documents in order to avoid miscommunication or any kind of assumptions that's not correct for the transaction. And that's why I asked that question. Now, building your reputation, Janice, what are the key things that you apply when you're developing this relationship and trying to establish that reputation, even in another new organization or new connections that you have?
Well, communication, relationships, those are the bottom line. If you communicate well and have a good relationship with them, and I deliver what I promised them, um, it works. One of the things that I do for my clients in the business part of it is all my clients know that even after the close of the transaction, they can contact me. They can call me, ask me any questions. I'm not just here because we're going through a transaction. I want them to ask me questions if they have anything that they're not sure of after we close escrow. Because
Mhm.
for me, that's very important. I consider them as a friend. Basically it's a relationship that I built along the way because the bottom line is how they view me as a person, whether it's personal or business, become my reputation. So if I know how to apologize if I have some shortcomings. So I respect people. So those are the key things that we have to do in order to have a good reputation.
I see. And Michelle, what's your thoughts about that?
Well, something was going through my head as we were having the discussion is that there's a whole different language, and that is home ownership and finance. And even in English, there's people that don't understand financing, mortgages, home ownership, the documentation that goes into it. So, education and communication is a big part of it. And those times of maybe quiet times in a transaction, it's even more important to make sure that the client knows what's going to happen next, and understands the steps like that. I kind of refer to it as a roadmap because I could show you the entire map. It won't make any sense to you. But if I let you know each street that you're going to turn on and where you're going to go next, you'll have a better understanding of the end result. So communication is very important, and understanding that this isn't something that people do every day. And I've been doing it more than half my life, and sometimes I don't even know things. It's a highly nuanced business, and we just need to make sure that that any client anywhere in any level of home buying, whether they've owned no homes or 10 homes, there's still a lot to get through. So that communication is really important.
Okay. Well, Jason, for you, you probably have higher level of challenge because you're dealing with new people that probably do not even have a relationship with the agent that you're trying to connect to. So how do you establish that connection to where they will also trust what you say in order for you to provide warm leads and live, appointments to an agent?
So you mean like when we're talking to somebody like a warm transfer to get him to the agent?
Yes.
So, I mean, really, we're kind of calling on behalf of the agent, So they're just looking for help. A lot of these people, I feel like everybody knows a real estate agent and or a loan officer, but like sometimes they just don't, they don't think of them. There's so many of them. So what we do is we position our partners to get in front of these people, and then we just follow up so quickly. Like they'll request some information online, and like we'll literally give them a call within 5 minutes. So it's like right away they see the attention to detail. Like when we get them what they requested, immediately we call them right away, we follow up with them, we position our partners as the expert and the trusted advisor, and we help them do that. So it's just like we're so good at communicating with them because of our systems and the way that we can just keep in touch with these people. And so it's kind of, at this point, in the beginning it was hard, but now it's easy just because of our systems that we've created.
I see. All right. So you have a very good follow-up system. And talking about follow-up system, Janice, I mean, how does that work with you? Because I know when it comes to real estate, you have to have a good follow-up system. So what is your follow-up system to really make sure that you have your integrity intact?
Well, I'm actually transitioned to the CRM. For the longest time, I have the Rolodex, the index card.
Oh.
my what do you call this? My Franklin Covey. Right now I have the Christian planner. So I still use this a lot because if I don't write it down, honestly, I will forget. There's so much going on. There's a lot of little things coming in along the way. I will get a phone call like, hey, it's tax time. Where do I get the amount of closing costs that we paid? What is that thing that the accountant is asking me? So I have to like constantly like looking at their final settlement statement and emailing to them around tax time. So that's one of the things that I get called on around January, February, March. People that are looking to do their taxes. So and I don't mind,
What about you? What about you, Michelle? Do you have the same process too?
Glenn and I are mature, so we have challenges. So we need lots of tools. Kind of circling back to what Jason was saying, I thought came to my mind is that sometimes the client doesn't know what they need. And we do, that's where you develop the trust, is to point them in the direction of what they need. Because I've seen on Facebook quite a bit that someone might ask for a referral for a realtor, and then they'll say they want to know a realtor who knows how to do VA loans. And so they don't even know that the realtor doesn't do the loans, and where you start in the process to know, what's available to you in the financing part, such as that. But for follow-up for us, it's all about the cadence and the statistics on how many contacts it actually takes and what type of contacts. So like if Glenn gives me information, then a contact, then I set it up on a cadence to talk to reach out to them as quickly as possible, but then also to text them, then also to send them an email, then maybe send them something interactive, then call them again and again. And usually it takes quite a few times to contact them before we will actually reach them. But then as a little sidebar, what's really important, and I don't know if you find this funny, but a lot of realtors will give you a first name and that's it. I've gotten referrals that say Jan Kids Soccer. That's their first name and their last name, Jan Kids Soccer. So I do a lot of, helping some agents understand that if you don't have a first name, a last name, and an email, you actually aren't going to be able to follow up with that lead, especially if it's a cold lead, very effectively, because they're busy. And as much as they want to buy a home, life, gets in the way. So you have to text, you have to email, you have to phone call numerous amount of times. And then even when you do make the determination of the outcome, whether the lead is lost or the lead is waiting, or, whatever, whichever direction that it goes, it's really important to have a system of follow-up on lost leads as well, because eventually they're going to need us. And so,
Okay.
I do have a CRM. I do have numerous avenues of follow-up. And I also do have to keep a task list daily in writing, like Glenn said, because it's great to have the tools, but you have to also have implementation. So I also have other reminders, not sticky notes, but have to have something in writing as well.
Well, that's really interesting. Talking about cold callings, Janice, do you still do that? And I know Jason, that's probably what mostly you do too, is doing cold calling. I'm interested what your approach is when it comes to cold calling. I'll start with you, Janice.
My business is mostly referrals. That's what I've been doing,
Okay,
but
because
I can do cold callings. I think I could do that. Just like today, I went to the bank. This is an example, and this lady's helping me, and to process something, and she mentioned, well, oh, what business are you in? I said real estate, and she said, oh, I love those dual homes, like. She's talking, I know which one she's talking about, the Lennar houses. And I said, you know what, give me your email address. She gave me her business card right away. So I'm going to be talking to her about finding a home with a dual suite, whether it's a used home or a brand new home. But I can run in the store and get a lead, just somebody I'm in line at the cashier. I can strike a conversation. So for me, I guess working for new homes in the past, I've learned how to do that, because when people are walking in the model home, I have less than 5 minutes to get all their information. So I'm trained to do that. So cold calling for
That's
me or cold
amazing.
leads for me is easy because of the training that I had with new home sales.
Glenn gets a lot of leads at parties.
I know. I
Just
can
send
see
her to a party and she'll get a couple leads.
So Jason, if you're not aware of Janice's lifestyle, she goes to a big party. She's part of like a dance group, and she has tons of people that just connected
Oh,
with.
that's awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah, next thing you know, I'm going to be saying, buy a home and you get pre-cha-cha lesson. No, I'm just kidding.
She's a dancer too. She's an amazing dancer, actually.
I need to learn the cha-cha anyways,
Oh, so Janice, getting back to you, Jason, I just don't want to get off track here, but Jason is actually a rapper and a musician. So just keep in mind.
I love dancing. My favorite is, I love ballroom dancing, but I love waltz.
Ooh. I can make a little waltz song, we could do a
little waltz beat.
A little waltz beat.
So Jason, getting back to the cold calling, what do you do?
So like absolutely, like getting on the phone is the quickest way to just building a relationship. Like you can't, there's people that are scared nowadays, you know, and they just want to send a text or like, you know, what's the worst? I bet everybody knows this. Like you ever like call somebody and then they don't pick up and then they text you back and they're like, hey, what's up? And you're like, dude, I called you for a reason. Like, you know, this is something we need to get on the phone and actually talk, because like communication is just lost through the written word. You can't hear somebody's tonality. You can't hear somebody's passion, you know? So like, it's like cold calling. I am a believer in cold calling. I know people hate cold calling. Nobody likes to cold call. What we do is try to help people not cold call, because we start bringing them warm, you know, warm leads, warm transfers, whatever you want to call them. But like at the end of the day, I'm not going to lie, we cold call, you know, we call people to try to set appointments. And you never know when you're going to find somebody that is worth talking to. But when we're calling the leads that we generate for people, you know, it's not really like a cold call. I don't consider it a cold call, because they're giving us their information. Like they're like, hey, here's my phone number. Here's my email address. Here's my name. Now, some of them are going to hate you. Hey, why are you calling here? Blah, blah, blah. But it's like, hey, you gave me your phone number, you know, in return for this information. So most of them are cool. You know, most of them do want to speak with somebody. And Michelle and Janice are right, man. I mean, the fact, like, you need to have systems, man. Like, you literally, like, everybody kind of sucks at follow up to a point. Like, some people are good, but it's like, I think deep down, we all feel like we could do better at follow up. So when you have systems and things in place that kind of like force you to follow up automatically, and it helps so much. So, cold
Now,
calling.
I wonder, Jason, when part of your cold calling is you do some rap music.
Hey, yo, you should get on the phone with me. Yeah, that would be cool. I should do that. I should start rapping. Just call somebody. They're like, hello, how can I help you? And I'm like, hey, listen up, man. They just start like rhyming or something. That'd be funny. Rhyme their name with something. Like, what's up, Michelle? Ring the bell. We're going to, you know.
It's fun. I can see why you're so good at what you do. Now, I wonder, because you do all this warm follow up. I mean, how many clients are you able to bring into an agent when you do something like this?
So it really depends, because there's only so much we can do in the sales process. Like, we're doing a lot of the prospecting. We do a lot of the front end stuff, but we just can't do sales, you know, like we just can't do the sales for the agent. So it really depends on them. But we usually say if we generate maybe 100 leads that month, right? Now we don't just offer leads anymore because of the follow-up. Like, we know that we've discovered in our experience that just people, they're just not good at following up. So now we put that on us. So when we're hitting these people up, I would say we can probably average at about 20% of the leads we generate. We will actually talk to them, qualify them, and turn them into actual appointments. So I would say something like that. And then you just break down the numbers out of those people, you know, each person's different, but you know, they're going to turn a certain amount of those people into actual clients as well. So it just kind of breaks down. It's all a numbers game, you know?
So when you do that, so you put an extra step to where you can really make it like a real deal transaction for an agent. So are your clients more really leaning towards to looking at your process as more integral, and it has, you know, more reliability in terms of the value of your work?
Yeah, absolutely. Because when we used to just like offer leads back in the day, we realized leads cause another problem. Like, a lot of real estate professionals are looking for leads. They're like, man, I want to get leads. I want to get leads. And then when they start getting leads, they don't realize that causes another problem. So we just went a step further and said, hey, let's solve the lead problem for them. And let's take it a step further and solve the follow-up problem as well. And so, yeah, they love working with our system just because we go a step further and we understand their pains. You know, like me personally, I've done a lot of investment deals. I've cold called, you know, FSBOs and expired listings. It's not fun. Like, they don't want to talk to you. You know, they're like you call a FSBO and they're like, yeah, they want maximum dollar for their house. They don't want to pay a commission, you know, all that stuff. So it's like, yeah, it's definitely important. Our system definitely helps them so they don't have to rely just on their sphere of influence and just on referrals. It we give them a predictable system that allows them to, you know, that has a predictable I guess clients come in a predictable manner, and that's something that's really big for our partners.
Speaking about in integrity again, Janice, because if you get a lot of clients, I mean, I'm sure there's only so much time in a day. How do you manage your time in dealing with all your clients to making sure that the integrity is still there?
Well, I learned how to juggle them, you know. If I know that I cannot answer right away, I will send them a text. If you don't mind, I can give you a call. I'm showing homes right now. I'll give you a call later on this afternoon. Would that be okay? So I asked their permission. So because I knew that I could I cannot do it right there and then, especially when I'm showing homes. So I think by asking them permission, letting them know what you're doing, they're okay with it. Just being upfront with them.
Okay, what about you, Michelle?
Well, I think it's kind of the blessing and the curse to be able to have that tool, because I love the fact that just exactly what Glenn said, as a tool for texting for a quick note to ask someone if they're available or to acknowledge that you know that they phoned you is just, takes you to a different level of being able to respond. So it's wonderful in that way, but it's also become not so good in what Jason was talking about earlier. And one of my pet peeves is you call someone and they say, for a quicker response, please text me. And it's like the quickest response would have been that you answered your phone. So if I know more that it's because you can't answer your phone, then you don't want to answer your phone, then it makes a difference. So it really depends how you use text. You cannot do business on text. But it's a great tool to stay connected. It's a great tool for a quick message. It's a great tool for a check-in. So I think that you can go out of integrity by relying on text and being able to communicate as much as possible person to person with just having that elevated connection with the text is ideal.
Okay. Now, question to you, Janice, in regards to the type of service that Jason does. I mean, I'm sure you've worked with other companies like what he does. Now, were they ever effective to you? Were you able to really benefit from those kind of services before?
I've actually have not used those kind of services. I'm going to be honest with you because I've just been doing referrals business. But however, I am building a team right now. And I have 3 other agents that are now working with me. They're brand new in this industry. They don't have the same kind of leads that I have. And we are brainstorming over the weekend that we need to do something. We need to step up, have maybe some kind of program that will support them in getting those kind of leads. So we are always open to anything new, to anything that would help the team. And actually, we're just onboarding another person earlier too. So it's going to be a group of 5 women right now, but we are in the process and we're going to continue to grow. So yes, we are going to tap into that services pretty soon.
That's amazing. Okay. So my final question to everyone, what can you share to the audience when it comes to integrity in real estate? I'm going to go ahead and start with you, Michelle, this time.
Well, I mean, I guess all I could say is that not to lose focus on the other things that are important to you, that we all know are important, the value, the cost, maybe some of the more things that come to a consumer's mind, and just to really interview people and take referrals seriously, in that people who tell you who they trust, you need to listen to that, because it doesn't matter. The other things don't matter if you can't get to the closing table, and if you can't work with somebody that's very knowledgeable and very trustworthy. That should be like the first check mark
Okay.
above
What about,
anything else.
okay, thank you. What about you, Jason?
I would say integrity is underrated, and it is so important. I don't care what business you're in.
Mhm.
It is so important. And like, I think integrity helps build your reputation. And reputations are so big when you're working with clients in a one-on-one environment. It's like you got to do it. You got to put their needs first, and you have to put what they need and helping them over your commission checks, and like it's so important because when you start doing that, when you change your mindset and you change your intentions and you're like, hey, listen, I just want to help this person out. Like, I want to help them out. You're going to help them out. And then the commissions are just a byproduct. Like, making money is a byproduct of really helping people and putting them first. And then when you do that appropriately, then referrals start coming in and it just starts snowballing. But I think just put integrity first, be transparent with people, don't try to lie. And like, honestly, the money's a byproduct. It comes afterwards. So I think it's so important.
Okay. And Janice?
They're both absolutely right. I mean, money is the byproduct. What we end up, after the close of escrow. Basically, it's so important that building, again, it goes back to basic, building the relationship, knowing what their goals, what they need, and helping them to get to that process is really important, because at the end of the day, your referrals will be the reflection of your reputation because you have given them a good service. So it's communication and sticking to your good character, meaning doing what you're supposed to be doing, even if there's nobody looking, is looking at you. Basically being the same person, whether they're in front of you or they're not in front of you. So being true to yourself, being honest to people, it boils down to relationship. That's the basic concept of this. Integrity is relationships to people.
Wow, that's amazing. That was awesome. So if people are trying to get a hold of you, what is the best way to get a hold of you? I'll start with you, Jason.
I would say, like, if you want to get a hold of me directly, just the cool thing is I have a very unique name. Nobody has my name in the world. So like, you could literally just, Google me. But I would say just go to like Facebook, search Jason Yesser, go to LinkedIn, search Jason Yesser. Or you could go to our website. It's it's just whitenoisedigital.com. You can go there, check us out. But yeah, just if you want to talk to me directly, LinkedIn or Facebook, just search my name. That's it.
Awesome. And Michelle?
My cell phone. My cell phone number is the best way to reach me always.
Okay. And what is that, Michelle?
My actual number, 909-229-1730.
Okay. And Janice?
Same thing, my cell phone, 909-730-9000. But you will find me in Facebook, also in Instagram. And I will connect with you, Jason.
Yeah, let's connect. I want to give props to Michelle and Janice, because that's crazy, the amount of transactions y'all have done and the longevity. And same, like, that's amazing. I'm bowing down right now. I'm blown away. And same with Marie. Like, this, like,
Oh, thank you,
what
Jason.
she's doing with everything with like Roku and Finest Women, and man, I'm bowing down to all you ladies. Like, it's really good to see.
Well, the last time we had a meeting at Fire Connect, Jason did a little rap for us. And it was so cool. And I told him that he should really do some special song for the agents.
Yeah.
He's so improv and he's so creative. And I really like that about him. But, and he's such a joy to work with. Anyway, thank you so much, Michelle, Jason, and Janice. You guys are amazing. And for everyone out there, please make sure that share this video to everyone. There's a lot of information that people can learn from this. We also have a YouTube channel for Finest Women in Real Estate. You can watch all our episodes in there. And then don't forget to get a hold of these people if you need some information, or at least need some assistance on trying to get a place, a home, or question on mortgage, or even just trying to get some more transactions from Jason, So make sure you get a hold of them. And again, don't forget, this is the Finest Women in Real Estate, and I'm your host, Marie Antonette Waite, and we'll see you again next time. Bye.
Bye.